Alright guys, so as you came in, you probably saw the 6 different Marvel comic characters that we had posted around the room. So to start off, let's refresh everybody's memory and tell who they are. Who's this one? Iron Woman. Thor. Who's this one?
Oh.
No.
Scorpion. Who's this one back here?
Wolverine.
Okay, Wolverine. Over here?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Hulk.
Hulk.
Ninja Dude.
Nobody knows this one? I think one guy knows this one already. This is Luke Cage, okay? This is a comic character that was written many years ago. Okay, now I'm going to read some statements. Each statement will be about one specific Marvel character, okay? When you think you know the answer, you can work as a group or individually, doesn't matter to me, but you tell me which one you think it is, okay? So, for example, if I said this person was bit by a spider,
Spider-Man.
it's going to be Spider-Man, okay? So then from that point on, none of the possible answers could be Spider-Man. Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Any questions? You'll kind of get the hang of it after we do the first one. Alright, here we go. So the first one. This superhero has the ability to track objects traveling faster than the speed of light. This person can also travel through time. Who is he? Okay, I'm hearing Thor. Tanner, what do
I'm
you
guessing Wolverine.
The guy with the big hammer?
Yeah. You've not seen the movie?
So I've got Thor, I've got Wolverine.
It's obviously Luke Cage.
Obviously Luke Cage, because you don't know who he is,
No.
but you're just guessing. What
I
else?
think it's Hulk.
And you told? Well, you just told me you thought it was
We'll
Thor.
just walk through it.
I didn't say Thor.
I thought you did, I'm sorry. Okay, so Hulk, what else? Anybody want to take another guess? Alright, raise your hand if you think it's Thor. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's the Hulk. And who was the other one that said Wolverine? Who thinks it's Wolverine?
It was me.
Okay, it's obviously not Luke.
Okay, so I will tell you, one of you is correct. It's not on this side of the room. So it's one of these 3. Correct answer is Thor. Right. So what I have written down, Thor can track objects traveling faster than light. He can hear cries from the opposite side of the planet. And he can travel through time. Okay, all of those were written in the comic. Okay, the original comic book. Alright, next question. Or next statement. This Marvel hero has the ability to see ghosts and spirits. Who is he? You're saying Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Hey, how many of you think it's Luke Cage?
It's either him or the green guy.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of hands. What other guesses do we have?
What's that green guy right
The Scorpion.
Scorpion. He's off Spider-Man.
Who thinks it's Scorpion? Okay, any other guesses?
He stings me.
That one back there?
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell you, you're all wrong.
Wait a minute. I bet you it's the Hulk.
No,
It
no.
says Spider-Man got this Spidey senses.
I mean, I think it's Spotty.
I'm
Okay,
going with the Hulk again.
Scorpion, ain't it? I'm saying
okay, what about Scorpion? How many think Scorpion? How many think the Hulk? And over half of you's not participating.
I know, there's a
I don't know.
Let's
Well,
go
take
with the
a
Hulk.
guess.
No.
You don't get anything wrong for
I go
guessing.
with Scorpion.
Okay, the correct answer is on this side of the room.
Let's go with the other green guy.
It's
The guy
Spotty.
at the front.
No, it ain't. Correct answer is
Other green guy.
the Hulk.
Whoa,
The
yeah!
Hulk.
How does he see that?
Yeah.
Never
Okay, it says the Hulk has the ability to see ghosts and spirits. He can resist mind control, so nobody can resist him. And he has an extreme resistance to heat and cold. Okay. So again, out of the comic, those were his 3 superhero abilities.
I thought he
never
just
sweating.
smashed things and went on.
Apparently not, eh? Okay, so Hulk's gone, Thor's gone, okay? So now you have a 25% chance to get the rest of them right. This comic character tried to use his powers to earn money. Who is he?
Oh, Spider-Man.
Okay, I'm in Spider-Man. What else? Raise your hand if you think it's Spider-Man.
So,
Tried to use his powers to earn money.
that's easy.
It's in a lot of hands for Spider-Man. What do you think, Courtney? Caitlin. Always do that.
I'm not sure.
Not sure? What about you, Taylor? What do you think? Don't watch cartoons? What do you think, Kevin?
Nicholas Cage up there.
Nicholas Cage.
Cage.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Nicholas Cage is off of.
All right, raise your hand if you think it's Spider-Man again. High, raise them high. All right, those of you that say Spider-Man are correct.
Told you.
Now, how did Spider-Man try to earn money? with his
Deliver
powers?
pizza.
They started lots of fighting.
Deliver pizza.
What was his job before he became Spider-Man?
Pizza.
He's a pizza man.
He was.
Photography.
He was-
Remember, he worked for the Daily Bugle. When
He
he
was
first
pizza
got
man, the first
bit,
one.
remember he would fly to the tops of buildings and act like the paparazzi. He would sneak pictures of people that didn't expect it. He would catch burglaries, murderers, you know, all those types of things. So he tried to use his power to earn money.
Oh.
Okay, so Spider-Man's now out of the way. That leaves us with Cage,
33.3%
Scorpion,
chance.
and Wolverine.
Next one's Wolverine. Wolverine's a man.
Alright, here we go. This character
Bring it on.
was born in the 1800s and is considered obese.
Wait.
This one is considered obese. Is it Scorpion,
That's all.
Wolverine, or this guy?
Well, that guy's got abs, and he all look real.
So there's the,
They all
I'm
look
pretty sure.
I've heard Scorpion.
Wolverine.
I've
Wolverine's
heard
got
Wolverine.
abs. So.
That's Scorpion and Wolverine. Have you ever watched Wolverine?
Anybody think it's Luke Cage?
really skinny.
Yeah,
You were born in the
yeah, Luke
1800s.
Cage. Yeah.
You were born in the 1800s.
It's,
I'm thinking Wolverine.
I think it's Wolverine.
How many of you think it's Scorpion?
I'm not even guessing.
How many are thinking Wolverine?
Pretty sure it's Wolverine.
How many of you think it's Luke Cage?
One of us Batman, right?
Okay, so we're split about 3 ways.
it's either Cage.
I can tell you it is not Scorpion.
I'm gonna say it's Cage.
Is it Cage or Wolverine?
Wolverine.
Way back in the day. Cage. You showed it in the movie.
Yeah, it did.
Watch it.
Showed him
Okay,
when
the
he was
correct
in
answer
Civil War.
is, drum roll please. Thank you, I was waiting for it. Wolverine.
Told you.
Now,
He goes right again.
here's what he
I watched the
weighs.
movie like the other night.
He's 5'2" okay? 5'2", which is shorter than me,
He's not fat, he's.
and he weighs over 300 pounds.
That's all muscle, duh.
He's ripped, but he's.
Meaning his BMI, what's BMI?
Body mass index.
Index.
They had to fill off his bones with that liquid metal.
His BMI is at 55, which is
Wow.
definitely obese,
That
okay?
is high.
Definitely obese.
That's why he's always sweating all the time.
I guess so.
You pay attention
So
to that.
Wolverine was our obese. Alright, shut up. Now I'm gonna read one more. So we know it's either gonna be Cage or Scorpion, okay? This character was a released prisoner. Was it Scorpion
Scorpion.
or
Scorpion.
Cage?
It's Cage.
I'm guessing
It's gotta be
Scorpion.
Cage. Scorpion.
How many of you think it's Luke Cage? How many of you think it's Scorpion?
I think-
Why would they arrest a
I'm just kidding, it
Scorpion?
is Scorpion.
I mean,
He
really.
looks like a bad guy anyway.
Alright,
Scorpion.
She's for prison.
so the correct answer
Scorpion's the bad guy on Spider-Man.
Green.
is Scorpion.
Told you, Billy. Why'd they
Now.
arrest the Scorpion?
Hang on,
That's
listen.
about stupid.
So Luke Cage, the difference between him and Scorpion, Luke Cage was sent to prison for something he didn't do.
I didn't know that.
Now what's the difference?
He probably
He is a felon, he's
He
not.
probably had
He was
somebody.
released,
He wasn't.
he broke out, okay? So he was released from prison, Cage was not. So what I had on Luke Cage, sent to prison for a crime he didn't commit, and he has steel hard skin with heavy muscle, okay? Now I have one more, and this one can be any of the 6, okay? All of them are back open. Which Marvel comic character has the ability to regenerate? Meaning if it lost an arm, what's gonna grow back? It's gonna grow back.
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Okay, I'm hearing Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Not everybody.
I'm so guessing Wolverine.
Trenton saying the
I
Hulk.
think it is.
You said the Hulk.
He's been born
right the whole time.
He's still going. He's
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
He heals himself.
The
He
Hulk.
shot in the chest. He's like, what?
Even that Star Wars stuff.
He really did.
Now, how many of you think it's Wolverine?
I know Wolverine can regenerate.
Very great.
What do you think?
You better be right now.
I'm pretty sure because of the movie.
Pick one. Okay, she's thinking Wolverine, Luke Cage. What do you think, Mark? Wolverine. Caitlin, what are you thinking? Wolverine, Courtney.
Well, I raised my hand for it.
Okay.
Watch us all be wrong.
Here's the thing.
It's not.
The correct answer is
Watch
Watch
it
it
be
be
Scorpion.
Scorpion. It is.
all of them.
What? They can all regenerate?
All 6 of our Marvel comic characters have the ability to regenerate. Even Spider-Man.
Well, that's partly because, you know, he's got the Spidey
As
senses.
a trick
Spidey
question.
senses are tingling.
Yeah. And
Alright, so if they all have the ability to regenerate,
I knew that.
what in the world does that have to do with plants?
that's what.
When you rip a plant
I can
off, it
regenerate.
regenerates itself.
That's what we're gonna be doing today, I guarantee.
So Thursday, what did I say we were gonna be doing on Friday?
Stop.
Planting plants.
No, cuttings, thank you, Tyler. So, cutting, by taking a cutting, the parent plant is regenerating itself, okay? So we're gonna lead into today talking about cuttings and how the parent plant regenerates itself, okay?
That's not over.
We pass these out to everybody, please. Alright, now I have another worksheet for you guys today. This one's a little bit differently, okay? You're gonna have 6 headings, okay? And each heading, you're gonna write what I mean by that heading, okay? So for example, the first one on the page says cuttings. So what you're gonna do is through this PowerPoint, you're gonna write what a cutting is, okay? The next one's gonna be, I think, rooting hormone. You'll write down what a rooting hormone is, okay? So it's not a fill in the blank or anything like that. You actually have to find out what the answer is and write it down, okay? I'll do this one. We'll get started.
So do something.
Alright.
That's cool.
So since we had a 3-day weekend, hopefully everything didn't just evaporate out of the air. Somebody remind me what this is.
Some kind of grass.
Wasn't it
Okay, we know they're plants.
the grandmother's
What's this process called?
Splitting.
Not splitting.
where you take it
Slicing?
out, cut it, and put it in different rounds.
Not grafting.
Dividing.
Division. Okay?
Same
Remember,
thing.
we're taking it, we're cutting it down the middle, and we're dividing it into a new plant. Okay? So we talked about that a little on Thursday. So today we're going to go into cuttings. Okay? So here we go. What exactly is a cutting?
Vegetable parts of the plant.
Summarize this, okay? So I'm taking a vegetative part of my parent plant, and I'm going to use it to regenerate itself. Okay, so if you think about a tree, okay, if I cut off a twig or a stem, what's going to happen? It's probably going to grow back again, right? It may take it some time, but it's probably going to grow back again. That tree is regenerating itself, okay? So in this case, I'm going to take a piece of the stem or root of my parent plant. I'm going to put that parent plant, or that new plant, into a suitable medium, okay? What's a suitable medium?
So.
The soil that we have in the greenhouse, right? Okay? So the new cutting, I'll go through the process here in just a few minutes, but that new cutting is going to produce these stems and these roots, and it's going to become a new plant that's going to be independent of the parent. Okay? So kind of like when we get old enough, say my age, okay, I basically started my own roots of my own way of life, where I'm becoming independent of my parents. Okay, same process. The cutting is the removed piece of plant. Okay. Now, if you look at this picture here, this is a good example of how to take a cutting. So we've taken a parent plant over here. We decided we want to take a cut of this. So what they've done is they've cut through here, so kind of like here. and they're using some type of blade to cut it even shorter. Now, in this case, they don't have to cut it shorter, but they are.
Is it true that if you cut a plant, when you're doing this, if you cut a plant at like a 45-degree angle, it helps it faster?
Yes, and that's exactly what I was getting ready to mention. Okay, so here, you'll notice it's not cut flat, right? It's not cut straight. We've slanted the cut, okay? When you do a cutting, you cut it at a 45-degree angle. Why do you think that is, Tanner?
It helps water get back in there faster.
Do what?
It puts water in the plant faster? I don't know. I was just thinking water
Possibly,
does.
what'd you say,
Does
Cody?
it have to be a perfect 45 degree angle? Just
No, just close, okay? So let's think about it. Say, this is far-fetched, okay, but say this is my plant, okay? I've taken my cutting, the eraser here is where my roots are gonna grow. If my eraser was flat and I put it down into my
okay.
soil, what could happen?
Follow.
The roots won't grow as fast?
Why?
Because it'll just be like stubbed.
Okay, it could be stuck against that soil, okay? There could not be enough oxygen and water getting into that end where I cut it.
Okay.
So if I cut it at a 45-degree angle, okay, I've got one side longer than the other. That's good because when I stick it down in my soil, the shorter side's not going to get blocked by what's blocking the longer side. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
That way my water's going to get through, my oxygen's going to get through, and my my roots are going to start thriving out the bottom. Okay? So that's why we want to cut it at a 45-degree angle so that doesn't happen. We don't want that to be blocked. Okay? So again, here's just this kind of the starter of how we do it, but we're going to get into more here about the technique. Okay, now when we take a brand new cutting, it's not going to have roots of its own. Okay? So we have to allow it time to develop those roots. So if we don't allow that root system to form, the plant's likely to die of dehydration unless the proper conditions are formed. What are my 4 proper conditions? We talked about these with sexual propagation.
Moisture,
Okay, moisture,
temperature,
good.
sunlight,
Sunlight
and oxygen.
and oxygen, good. So we have to have some type of moisture. Oxygen has to be present. We have to have some type of heat. And then we also have some type of light, okay? So kind of here is where we get into those. So my cutting is going to require a moist medium, okay, or moist soil, cannot be dry, won't grow. Environment should be humid, meaning what?
Warm.
Oh, man.
Okay, it's going to be warm, with not really any air blowing through, okay? Partial shade should be provided, so there's my light. I can't put it all in full sun. And then this last one, if it's unlikely to grow, so if maybe these conditions aren't met, I'm going to apply what we call a rooting hormone, okay? Did I mention rooting hormone to you all on Thursday?
No.
No, okay. Let's get into it. So rooting hormone, okay? What I'm talking about is what we got here in this bottle, or container, whatever. So I'll pass this around. I poured some rooting hormone in a cup. You can look at it. But it's basically this chemical that's going to trigger my plant into developing roots faster, okay? Now I can still more than likely grow a plant without a rooting hormone. That rooting hormone is going to speed up the root formation, okay? So encouraging the plants to develop roots faster.
Looks
Now-
like protein.
Looks like protein.
Yeah.
So,
Like C4.
I put a small amount in a separate cup like this for a specific reason. Anybody want to guess as to why I would pour some in that cup rather than just taking it out of this container?
Smell.
See if it's good, if it smells? Not necessarily.
Tomato.
Possibly. You hear me right now. What could be wrong with me
Your voice.
other than my voice? What's the cause of my
Everybody
voice?
sick.
Sick.
Okay, I could be sick. I don't know yet. So relate that into plants. Why would I pour some, just a little bit in a cup like that?
So you just passed
So you can measure how much you put
So
in it.
the germs off of us will get into the big bottle, and then when you pour it in the plants, it won't make them sick.
So you passed your
Very
sickness
close.
on all of us.
If I have a plant, say this plant here, had a disease, okay? I'm taking a cutting off of this diseased plant, and I dip it down into this rooting hormone. What's gonna happen? Do Do what?
It'll get in the rooting.
Okay, that disease is gonna spread throughout this entire container.
Right.
So if I pour it in a small cup like that, and my plant does have a disease, then that disease is only gonna be in that small amount that I poured in the cup, rather than having to waste this whole container, okay? So that's why we wanna pour it into a small cup like that, for disease reasons. So the one passing around is powder form. They also have rhubarb hormone in a liquid form. I've never used it or seen it used either way, but powder is most common. Okay, and so the last bullet here, we'll work on a variety of cuttings. Okay, steps 1 and 2 here on your worksheet, steps to using a rooting hormone. It's a pretty simple process, okay? How easy was division? Pretty simple, right? We took up the parent plant, we cut it in half, we planted one of the halves, okay? Division was that simple. Taking a cutting is almost just as simple, okay? So step number 1, read it for me, Chris.
Remove the cutting from the parent plant. The cutting should be taken near a, is that node?
No,
Node at the end. Cut end goes down when planting. Remove any leaves or flowers from the node.
come up here, Chris. Hold this up there. All right, does anybody know what this is called? It's a plant. Wandering Jew, okay, where they got the name, I don't know, okay? So this is what we're gonna be working with today. We're gonna be taking the cutting off of Wandering Jew. First thing I'm gonna look for is my longest branch. I would say it's this one right here, okay? I wanted to take a cutting off of this. I'm gonna look at step 1 there, and I'm gonna remove the cutting from the parent plant. How am I gonna cut it?
I don't know.
45-degree angle, okay? So I'm gonna find a node. So right here's a node. I'm gonna cut it at a 45-degree angle, okay? So you can see this side is taller than this side of my cutting. Does anybody see that? This side's a lot taller. Okay, thank you. All right. So I've taken my cutting. Now this leaf could get in the way, so just to prevent that from happening, I'm gonna remove it, both of them, okay? Now, when I go to plant this, and this sounds very elementary, but when I go to plant this, I always want where I cut to be down in the soil. Don't put it this way, because it's not gonna grow, okay? Why?
Well, that's the top of it.
And my roots aren't gonna grow out the top, right? So my roots have to grow out down here, so this is the part that goes down in. Okay, so step 1, it's that easy. Step 2, read that for me, Nathaniel.
Dip the cutting end of the powder, immerse the cutting end of the powder slightly higher than the planting depth. Shake the excess powder off by lightly tapping the cutting against the edge of the container.
Okay, so the step's just as simple, okay? I'm gonna take my cutting, take my rooting hormone, I'm gonna dip it down in here. Okay, and once I dip it down in there, you can see some of it sticking on the sides there. I'm just gonna tap that off. I don't want it, okay? So I'm gonna put this down into my soil, but you can tell I've got my rooting hormone kind of high up on my stem, okay? Why do I want it higher than my planting depth? Maybe. Not where I was going with it. Let's see if we can answer that question with this next slide. Can I move on? Okay. All right, well, I'll go ahead and tell you. So if I'm immersing the cutting into the powder slightly higher than the planting depth, what happens if my planting hole isn't big enough and I try to put my cutting down in there? What's going to happen to the roots?
Some of it's gonna shake off.
It's going to rub off, right? We don't want it to rub off because we want our roots to grow, okay? So if we put it higher than our planting depth, that's going to ensure that I still have enough rooting hormone on that plant, okay? Does that make sense? Yeah, buddy? Okay. So again, I shake off the excess on the side of my container. We good? All right. We'll come back if you don't get it. So these are labeled 4 and 5, but they're steps 3 and 4. Okay, so step 3, again, an easy step. Read that one for me, Cody. Call it.
Right.
Sorry, I forgot we had 2 Codys.
Which step?
Step number 3. It's labeled 4, but read this top one.
Plant the cutting in any high-quality potting medium. Make sure the hole is wide enough that the rooting hormone is not rubbed off as you skim the cutting into the soil.
Okay. So again, I'm gonna have a high quality soil, I'm gonna plant my cutting into, and I want the hole wide enough so the rooting hormone does not rub off. Okay, this blue part here, very important. Somebody read that one.
Do not allow rooting hormone onto the nearby plants or cuttings as it might be toxic to established plants.
Okay. Other than it being toxic, why do I not want my rooting hormone onto a nearby plant?
It ain't gonna do no good.
It's not gonna do it any good, could kill it, okay? So if I say I accidentally get rooting hormone on a plant we cannot take a cutting from, right? You don't have to write the blue, no. If I accidentally spill some rooting hormone onto a plant that is not good for a cutting, then I increase automatically the chance that that cutting or that plant gets a disease, okay? Makes it more toxic. We don't want that, okay? So that's why we say do not allow it onto nearby plants. Step number 4, the easiest one of all. Read it, Billy.
Tap down the soil around the cuttings to remove air pockets.
Why do we not want air pockets? Why do we not want air pockets?
Just getting in the way,
It's just getting in the way. How's it getting in the way?
blocking everything from like nutrients and.
Okay, bingo. Okay, so if I have a bunch of air pockets hanging around in my soil, if I don't get rid of those, that's blocking my flow of water. It's blocking the flow of nutrients into my cutting, okay? So I want to tap down that soil to get any of those air bubbles out of the way. So 4 pretty easy steps, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take my cutting at what degree? 45-degree angle. I'm going to dip it into my rooting hormone, shake off the excess, make my hole, plant it to my soil, and cover it up. It's that simple, okay? So I've got a couple of videos here. They're not songs, I promise. Let's take a look.
Wait, did you say songs?
I said it's not a song.
Oh, okay.
Somebody asked me in one of the previous classes. It'll load here, let's see. If not, we'll just go on. Alright, we'll see if that loads. If not, we'll just go on.
Hi.
It's trying to load, just very slowly. It's amazing how the difference in the 2 computers can run. Alright. We'll probably,
Alright, now we're gonna show you how to take a cutting. So, I'm just looking for a nice tip. This is a nice tip here, and I'm probably gonna go down in like 2 or 3 sets. And by sets, I mean like sets of leaves. Here's, 1, 2, 3, and you want fully expanded leaves. So, this would be a nice cutting. And I'm gonna cut on top of where it meets another.
okay, so she cut it at a
I
45
leave
degree
that
angle.
behind, and by leaving this behind, it tells the plant to branch. So these little side shoots will grow out, and then I have a nice little cutting to go with.
Okay, we'll watch you do one more here.
This one, and then this is a bridal veil.
We have these in the greenhouse,
I'm
we'll
just
see them when
gonna
we go out there.
find a nice shoot and cut above one of the little nodes. And then again, I have another little shoot. And if I cut back this whole plant,
Okay, so again, she found that node, she cut it at a 45 degree angle, and she made her cutting. Let's watch one more of the full process. Okay, that one was just how to do the cutting. Let's watch actually how to do the whole process.
I want you to move
I want
something.
to see the movie. Looks like a good movie.
Oh, cool, we could at least watch it.
Alright, here we go, same woman.
Now we have our pots, we have our rooting hormone, and we have our cutting, so now we're ready to plant. So,
Okay, so she's got her media in her
let's
pot.
first start with, our coleus.
And you'll see these later on this semester.
Just, that's all
She
you
dipped
need.
it, she tapped off the
So we
excess,
probably just press right into the soil.
and she put it into her soil.
Sometimes if you need a hole, you can dibble a
Okay,
hole.
now what she didn't do is make her hole in advance. We're gonna make that hole, but it works the same way.
Just
Okay, so again,
plant this.
she's gonna dip it, tap it off,
Two plants would probably
Put it
be
into her
without
soil.
rooting hormone.
and cover it up. Okay,
This vinca,
so fairly easy, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that it's gonna take a lot of time to do. So really quickly to finish up, excuse me. Today we're gonna be using scissors, but some people that do this professionally will use some type of switchblade or knife or something. So here, either way, but we're gonna take it at a 45-degree angle and go on with our steps. Okay? Now, do you want them, we'll do wandering Jews, okay? So we'll be using the same plant. Now, you're gonna be in a group, I'll let you all choose, of no more than 4 people, okay? So I'll give you 30 seconds, find your group of 4, and give me your attention back up after 30 seconds. Start now.
She's seen, so he's all like this.
Should flip off.
15 seconds. Find your group of 4. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright. Everybody got your group of 4?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna go out into the greenhouse, and again, you're gonna get one of those small white FFA pots that we use for our tomatoes, okay? When we go out there, you will each do your own, okay? And you'll put 3 cuttings into one pot, okay? Does that make sense?
No.
You'll take 3 of these cuttings, and you'll put it into your pot, okay? Put your name on the side of your pot like we did with the tomatoes. There's Sharpies out there, and we'll go from there. Any questions? Tanner, what's the first thing I want to do when I get to the
Go out there and
greenhouse?
grab your pot and probably put your name on it and put soil.
Okay, I'm gonna grab my pot, put my name on it, add soil. What's my next step?
Do your cuttings.
Do my cuttings. Next step, Mark. After I take my cutting. Okay, I'm gonna dip it into my rooting hormone. What'd I forget, Caitlin?
Your
No,
hose.
that's what I was gonna say.
Okay. Okay, so after I dip it in the rooting hormone, what's next?
Now
Knock
knock it
the
off,
excess off.
then put it in your soil.
What's before that?
Make a hole,
Gonna make the hole.
put it in your
Put it in the
soil,
soil.
tap it down, and then you're good.
Okay,
Then you got your.
That's it. alright, let's head on out to the greenhouse.
Okay.
Okay.
Wake up, Bruno.